Hey, what's up everybody? BDO44 coming at you in another video. Alright, so I did not realize that there wasn't 2 days in between each game, but one, just like the last series. For some reason I had that all wrong. I thought the game was tomorrow. It's today at 5:30. So that was a very pleasant surprise. But there's work to be done. So here we are. We got to talk about the Denver Nuggets again. And we're going to be talking about them again and again, hopefully again and again, if it comes to that, because honestly I have us winning the series in 6. But we're down 0-1 in the series, and well, much has been said about how we had the tale of two halves, and so did the Nuggets, to be honest with you. The first half, we didn't show a whole lot of effort defensively. We came out and started schematically backwards, as we often talk about, going small, which was completely ill-advised. But we did that, and it does what it did, and left us in a position to have a really, really big hole. At the end of couple quarters, we had like a 28 point deficit, but we were ultimately able to jump back into the game when we did some things differently in the fourth quarter with some in-game adjustments. That ultimately gave us an opportunity to see a nice couple of minute stretch where the Denver Nuggets offense didn't score, and that was very encouraging in regards to what it is that we hope to see. Now, Mike Malone spoke on the adjustment that we made in regards to putting Rui on Jokic, and he was essentially saying it ain't nothing we haven't seen before. But I would challenge him to say you haven't seen this before, because you don't never had to deal with a weak side helper like Anthony Davis. You may have had a smaller person like Rui on Jokic, but he certainly didn't have the help that Rui's going to have. So stop the cap, stop the disrespect. I'm getting real tired of the disrespect in regards to this series pointed at my team. I get it, they got Jokic, he's amazing, but let's not act like we don't have great players over here that can do things and make his life very miserable. And to a point, we saw what that looks like when we do it correctly in the fourth quarter. We just didn't close the deal. We fell into some bad habits, and just like we started the game, we finished it bad and lost. We didn't deserve to win, but we definitely showed that we deserve to be in this series with this team, and that we are going to have games that we play better, for which we will deserve to win. And so that's what we hope to see tonight. I already circled game 2 before the series even started as a must-win, whether we won game 1 or not. This is the most important game to me, for us, because we got to be able to get the split in this altitude-based series with only 1 day in between games. That is not good for us. We are significantly at a disadvantage against them in regards to our fatigue because of it, based on the altitude that they're used to and the fact that they had rest in between their last series. That we didn't have, since theirs ended sooner. So the fact that they only use 8 people can be weighed against that, given the fact that they don't want to go too deep in their bench. They're really relying upon those guys to stay healthy, stay out of foul trouble, and stay full of gas. But all in all, I think our team can throw a bit more at them than they can throw at us from that perspective, and it should balance it out some. So I'm looking at the stat sheet here from the last game, but I don't want to break it down like I did in the video after the game, because I did that in one of the playoff games. I'm like, yo, we're recapping the same game. We don't want to do that. This is a preview of the next game, but you do want to know some of what happened in the previous game to help you understand what you do and do not want to see. First of all, we got to rebound the ball better, man. If we don't rebound the ball a lot better, then we'll see a result that is similar to what we saw in game 1. The rebounding differential was of 17 points in their favor, 17 rebounds rather, 47-30. The offensive rebounding was 10 in their favor, 5-15. And the defensive rebounding was 7 in their favor, 32-25. We just have to rebound the ball better, and it starts with us putting the right players on the floor to help us with that. It's very easy to put ourselves at a schematic disadvantage rebounding when we go small, especially against this personnel, Nikola Jokic and those guys. It's extremely ill-advised. I'd like to think that we'll make the adjustment to start Rui in place of either Dennis Schroeder or D'Angelo Russell, and just give us an opportunity to have a bit more of a size, balance out there. Also, I really think that our team can do better in the defensive categories. Cut and dry, we only have 4 block shots in this game. That's not when we really do our damage. We got to hover around 7 and 8. We let them get 7 blocks. We only had 4. Make it make sense, LA. We got Anthony Davis and all this length that we can have. I understand they got some size down there in those 3 players that they use, but again, they only have 8 players that they want to use. So after you get past Porter, Gordon, and Green and Jokic, they really don't have that type of size. It's not there. You know what I mean? They got to go to players they don't want to use. So key to us is just understanding that they only want to use 8 players, and no matter how much trouble those 8 players give us, there's only 8 of them. So get them in foul trouble, get them off the floor, and study them deeply so that we can understand what their weaknesses are and exploit those. And throughout the course of the series, as we have more options, we'll just ultimately wear them down in theory. Regardless of where we are in regards to wins and losses, we could be down 2-1 in the series, but still have this dynamic play itself out if we do things correctly, still win the series. So we gotta try to prevent that. You definitely don't want to find yourself in any type of hole that other than the one we're in right now. But nevertheless, the point is, if we continue to just steady give them a healthy dose of 11 guys more or less to their 8, it'll have positive results on this series, I believe. So that's what I'm hopeful we'll do a little bit of. Looking at the turnovers, I do like that we only turned the ball over 7 times to their 11 and only allowed them 5 points in off of those turnovers. So that's a recipe for success for us. If we can duplicate that, we'll feel great. And that, unlike the shooting percentages and things like that, that's something I think we can do something about. Given the fact they don't really play defense like that, we should be able to take care of the ball a bit better against them than Memphis and against Golden State. Fast break points, 13-19. I thought we were fair there. I never really paid much attention to fast break points like I should in terms of what's normal and what's not. But I will do a better job of that in this series. Try to figure out where we want to be versus where we're not in that particular category. I always overlook it for some reason. And points in the paint, 48 points to 50. We got to be aware that Nikola Jokic is Nikola Jokic, and that means that he can get a lot of points in the paint. He can cover that by himself on a very good night. 50 points in the paint, he can get that by himself. So we need to understand that. I have seen with my own eyes a game where the Denver Nuggets scored over 100 points in the paint. I don't remember who they were against. It wasn't us. But I remember scouting it and saying, what the hell? Like, they're capable of putting up ridiculous amounts of points in the paint with their personnel. So we need to guard against that and try to keep them around 50. Try to keep them there. We've played against some teams that shoot the ball a lot, man. Memphis and Golden State didn't have any three-point discipline. That is not a problem of the Denver Nuggets. Not only do they shoot the ball like they have some sense, but they also shoot at a very high percentage every night. So we need to understand that they are not going to play into our hands in terms of their offense. And the last 2 teams that we played against did. They simply did. This team is not going to make as many mistakes offensively. They'll give it up on the other end, so you better score on them. But as far as you being as effective against them defensively, they're just not going to make as many mistakes, and we know it. So yeah, I don't pay much attention to these shooting numbers because I just don't think we can duplicate them, and I think it's probably fool's gold to think that that's what's going to get us where we're going. We scored 126 points. We usually like that. If we can score 126 points on a good defensive night, we know we'll win that game. But if we're playing bad defense to start and giving up a 37 first quarter, followed by a 35-point second quarter and a 34-point third quarter, you allow that to be the case, you're not going to be able to score with the Denver Nuggets. You're not. Your defense must be more effective sooner in this game, and you got to be more intent on scoring more to start these quarters too. 25-point quarters and stuff like that is probably not going to work in the series. We were able to get away with 17-point quarters against Golden State because we could stifle them defensively. This team is just simply going to hit some of those shots that Golden State just clanked repeatedly. So again, our offense has to be sharp, and we have to know what generates that offense is our defense. So we got to be intentional on getting those stops against this fantastic offense and then attacking them in transition where they're not going to be able to stop us. Transition is another word that we need to use in regards to ourselves because our transition defense hasn't been very good. We have got to find a way to stop them from getting out in transition since we are prone to creating transition opportunities for the opponent with our turnovers and our long shots that we do not rebound. That's another thing I didn't like about LeBron James' shot. He got to be able to identify not only when he has an open shot, but when his players are not in the position to necessarily rebound the shot that he's going to break. Just because the shot is open does not mean the risk isn't present. When you consider your percentages and you consider who's down there trying to rebound around you, you got to be cognizant of that, Lakers. Not every shot that is open is a good shot if you're not surrounded by proper rebounding. It's probably in your best interest to take it to the hole so that we have a better chance of getting an offensive rebound or so that we have a higher chance of a higher percentage opportunity with that particular possession, because possessions matter against a team that is going to convert just about every damn time they go down. So I look at any turnover, any missed shot, any offensive rebounding opportunity we let go as something that's automatically going to turn into a point for the other team. And if you don't look at it that way, then you're probably not assessing the Denver Nuggets properly. So that's really what it is. Your turnovers have to be down, and your shot selection has to be sharp. And your rebounders should definitely be on the floor. We got to use Winion in this series. We got to use Vanderbilt in this series more. Obviously, Rui needs to be utilized more. Braun is important. AD is important. All the big guys. This is your series. This is your series, big people. I'm saying a series for Dennis Schroeder. If D'Angelo Russell does not find his passion for energy, this is not a series for him. That lackadaisical, methodical, it can only work but so much in a series like this, where the pace is going to be dictated by that big guy over there. We just can't have, stuff on the floor that's not going to be sharp offensively. Austin Reeves got to continue to shoot well. He had some fantastic shooting in this first game, and we need that to continue. He had a struggle series against the Warriors shooting the ball. If for some reason those struggles return, we're in a huge hole, because he has to be able to be as efficient as he always is to keep connecting on the shots necessary to keep up with that offense. So as long as Reeves keeps shooting the way he did in game one or somewhere around that, I think we'll be in a good spot. But if for some reason he goes cold and we can't rely upon him to hit those shots that we normally do, that could be the difference. So far so good there. Lonnie Walker, I think this is a series where we may want to kind of play it by ear with Lonnie, because he's a little shorter. He's a lesser defensive to a degree, even though he had 2 steals and no turnovers. So maybe we want to play it by ear and see if Lonnie can give us another 50% shooting 3-point series, or game rather, because he was 2 for 4 from behind the arc. So it looked like Lonnie probably should have had more minutes. Now that I'm looking at it, to be honest with you, he was a +3, and he only had 20 minutes, and he was 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 steals. So yeah, it looked like he probably catered to positive things out there. I think we should have given Lonnie more looks now that we're studying it. So these are different things that I just look at and say, okay, maybe more Lonnie, less D'Lo. Dennis Schroeder shooting 100% from behind the arc is also something that can really help us. Anybody who can hit shots in this series needs to be somebody that we keep on the floor with rebounders and defensive players, because shot conversion has never been more important in these playoffs than against the Denver Nuggets. Shot conversion, you just got to be efficient as possible. With that being said, LeBron James and that 3-point shot, man, this ain't the series for bricks threes, bro. This ain't the series for brick threes. A guy got to just know when what it is that he wants to do is going to directly hurt the team. And I'm telling you, with the efficiency of the Denver Nuggets, connecting on every possession is the key to our success. And when we don't have the stop, and when we are getting the ball in a situation where they just scored, it can't turn into another transition bucket for them. They're too good. They're just too good for that. So this is what I've come to understand after one game of play. And, Aaron Gordon missing from behind the arc, I don't know if we can count on that or not, but it definitely catered to why we had as much success defensively as we did. We're going to have to find an answer to keep him bricking shots, or rather, we just got to be lucky with him bricking the shots we give him. And if he starts stringing together 3-point shots, it's going to be a tough game to win. Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be the biggest X factor for the Denver Nuggets. After one game, I've circled him as somebody that we're just going to have trouble with all series long. And we really don't have anybody that we can guard him with. And if for some reason we put the wrong player on him, it's going to open up stuff for another guy who can kill us. So you're going to need to use Vando on Murray, but you probably be benefiting from having him on Porter too. So you can't have him in 2 places at once. Austin's going to have to do a good job on whoever it is he's asked to guard. And we're going to have to keep certain guys off the floor who are not going to be able to guard certain other guys, because offense is so damn important. So I'm telling you, it's tricky, man. It's tricky. We have to convert on defensive plays and turn them into offensive plays against a very potent offense. And that's how we're going to be able to score enough with that offense. That is absolutely crazy. But that is exactly what the formula seems to be to me. The good thing is they can't stop you. The problem is, are you efficient enough to keep up with them if your defense isn't successful in stopping them? And that's what they're banking on, that they can outscore us even if we have stops here and there. But that's just bad math. If you're a Nugget fan, I wouldn't like that math if I were them. Because at the end of the day, if I can't get any stops, what's stopping them from scoring on me just as much as I'm scoring on them? We're just counting, if you're Denver, you're counting on Austin to miss shots, Lonnie to miss shots, DS to miss shots, D'Lo to miss shots. Not necessarily on your defense. You know what I'm saying? I think we have more to help ourselves with offensively against them than they have defensively against us. You know what I mean? So that's why I like us to win this series ultimately. But it still has to play itself out. We still need them to start missing some shots. If they keep shooting the way that they've been shooting, I don't know that we can keep up. But I also don't think we front them 20 boards or have the start that we had in the first game that would allow them to have the cushion that they ultimately had against us. That would allow them to lose a 27-point lead. If that's not a 27-point lead, they lost by 27 or more points in that game. You got to look at it that way too. If the Lakers don't start off as bad as they did, we covered 27 or 28 points in that game. And so, like, there are a lot of reasons. You know, I was listening to somebody say, you know, if the Lakers lost, then why do they feel so happy about this week? Why could they feel so confident about this win? Because we know if we run out there against you, we've seen significant success against you. When we tightened up and stopped doing things that ultimately we had no business doing anyway. And see, that's what Game 1 taught all of us. Now, on the flip side, listening to people who know this game better than I do, Denver seemed to not necessarily play up to their standards in the second half, which also catered to why we had such success. And so we got to give credence to the fact that both of these teams can play better and that we should expect that they're both going to play better tonight. So that's what I've gathered listening to people who know the sport better than me, and that's what I'm poised to tell to you as well. Jamal Murray, we're going to have to find a way to slow him down, man. He can't go for no 12 for 20, 4 for 8 from behind the arc, 3 for 3. He can't shoot this well. He's a hell of a player, but if we don't do a better job on him, then we're punting the series. And KCP, giving 21 points, all of that, plus 16. He's a very important piece on both sides of the floor. We have got to find a way to slow him down. I'm tasking with whoever's guarding him to do a much better job than to allow him to shoot this efficiently. Period. And then Bruce Brown, you know what I mean? He's going to be an X factor all series. He's going to drive at the rim. If we can slow anything down and that could really hurt us in regards to that player, it's making sure you put bodies in front of him as he drives. 3-point shots, he's going to hit shots. Defensively, he's going to do his thing. But him getting in at the paint and dunking the ball and doing all that stuff that Lonnie does, we got to put an end to that. I don't want Bruce Brown dunking on nobody else with 24 minutes of play and he got 16 points. Nah, hell nah. Y'all got to slow him down. He don't even have a bench unit. Like, he's just a singular guy that's coming off of their bench. And I told y'all, contain the colors, you contain the bench, because it's the only players they're going to use, brown, and green. So we got to do that if we want to stop this team. And look, foul trouble is the key. We are the best team in the world at getting to the line. This is one of the most shallow teams left in the playoffs. Get them out of these games by doing what it is that we naturally do, which is get to the line and have other teams' fan bases looking at us like we're cheating because of it. We need to get back to who we are. Drive. And LeBron James, every last one of those possessions you shot that three, I wanted that to be a drive, brother. I want you to put pressure on these guys on every possession that you have, because every possession matters. And your functionality at its best for us is putting pressure on the damn rim, bro. Honestly, it's the best thing you got going for us right now, LeBron. Is that I know the foot is hurting, but the easy buckets and the way that you can be ambidextrous, laying the ball up over and over again is really all we really need from you offensively, brother. Outside of maybe making some plays and, of course, crashing the boards. I don't need no long jumpers. I don't need nothing else. I don't need no fadeaways. I want those to go to other people, bro. Honestly. We just need the highest percentage stuff so we can ride our wave to this ring, man. And we don't need hero ball, living and dying with hero ball, when we can get higher percentage stuff and walk away with the damn victory. I just want him to win. I don't want him to win on his terms. I want him to win beyond all else. So if it makes sense to pass in a situation, damn it, pass. If it makes sense to drive, please drive. Does it make sense to shoot? Rarely. Not a three. Rarely, bro. Not with those percentages. Not the way this is going this season. Am I happy when you make shots? Hell yeah. I love what I saw in game, 6 when you went off for a bunch of threes, or game 4? I don't remember what game it was, rather. But he had a really good 3-point shooting game in the Golden State Warriors series, and it was nice to see. But that's one game. And the rest of the games were basically bad 3-point shooting games. So a man at some point has to say, yeah, I want to get in rhythm. I want to get this shot going. But there's also a million other ways that my talent will allow me to defect this game, even with the messed up foot. So let me devise other ways of getting what I need done and not settle. Not settle. Because settling leads to the other team walking away with a victory, brother. That's it. and your team having felt frustrated because they can't hold you accountable because you're LeBron James. But I will. Stop shooting bad shots, brother. We want to win together, not lose together. So that's what I got to say to LeBron James, man. I appreciate all the good that he does for me, but because he's just the GOAT, or the king and all of that, I'm not taking it light on somebody who's supposed to be better than everybody else. I won't do that. And with that being said, Anthony Davis, I was listening to Jason Timpf, as I always do, and he helped me understand that I was right for wanting more from Anthony Davis. Yes, Anthony Davis had a hell of an efficient game, and him attempting 23 shots is a heaven sent, because there's been games where he only wants to attempt 7 and 9 shots. That's what I would prefer every night. Regardless of how efficient he is, give me the attempts. However, and the turnovers were excellent. 0 turnovers, it doesn't get better than perfection. Perfection from the free throw line doesn't get better than perfection. So all of that made me understand that getting on his case didn't seem right. But then when you look at the 10 rebounds, and you look at how bad we got out-rebounded, and you look at Jokic's rebounding, it's like, yo, bro, you left us needing more from you still. You gave us the points, but we needed the boards and the points. And so it's like, it's never enough. And I'm sorry that that's the case. I'm sorry that that's the case. But we're trying to get a ring. And you're the guy that holds the heavy load. You're the guy that can carry the most weight. So we got to ask you to do even more while helping you understand how much we appreciate what you did. Because that's the balance there. But if we can lose together if you want to do not enough, and we can keep our mouth shut about how we would rather you do more if it makes you feel better. You feel me? But ain't none of that going to bring us a damn ring. You feel me? Ain't none of that going to make it so that we're shutting those guys who are saying that Jokic is 10 times better than you up. What's going to do that is you giving us 40 points and 20 rebounds. You feel me? And I would never say that you can't do that because I've seen you do it already. I ain't going to ask D'Lo to do that. I ain't going to ask Austin to do that. I'm going to ask Anthony to do that. You feel me? So that's what I'm here to say. Am I pleased with 40 points and perfect shooting damn near? Of course. And that's why I didn't feel comfortable in the last game asking him to give me more than 10 boards. But guess what? We lost because we couldn't rebound. So that's where we need him to put his focus. We got to get more boards, bro. And if he's always giving us what we need, we never lose. I think it's on Anthony Davis to identify what we need and do his best to give us that. And so sometimes when we need more scoring, he doesn't give us enough scoring. Sometimes when we need more boards, he don't give us enough boards. Sometimes he gives us everything we need and we blow people out. So that's what we need him to do for the next 12 games or whatever it's going to be left. Give us everything that we need. Be perfect. Meet these impossible expectations so that we can hoist this championship. And I guarantee you, if you deliver on that, you will be celebrated as one of the greatest big men to ever play in the Laker uniform, along with the other greatest big men ever played in the Laker uniform, because all of them brought us multiple rings, except for Wilt, and that's okay because he brought us one. But the point is, I expect AD is going to be able to do more for us, and the time is now. Any game where he's giving us 50 points, 20 rebounds, 5 blocks, all that stuff is awesome. But if we can't activate it when we absolutely need it the most, then it really ain't giving us that thing that we need. You know what I'm saying? We ain't getting what we need if you can't give it to us when we absolutely need it. So that's what I'm telling AD. Do I appreciate him? Heck yeah, man. This is awesome. He's been healthy for 2 months and he's been playing like a madman. But he's also been very inconsistent in some very key areas, and it's cost his team. Just like when he plays well, it credits his team. So we live and die with Anthony Davis, and it's hard for all of us to try to deal with that because there's so many players on this team that can do so much. But at the end of the day, if we're not feeding Anthony Davis and if he isn't giving us absolutely everything possible as a top 5 player is capable of doing, then we're going to get beat by the other guy's top 5 guy who's going to definitely do everything his team needs. And so that's all it is to it. Pressure applied, brother. It ain't deeper than that. We got to keep Jokic on his toes. Anthony Davis is too good of a defender for Jokic's numbers to be this good against him. With all due respect to Nikola Jokic, I really believe that. 34 points, 21 rebounds, 14 assists, 2 blocks on 12 of 17 shooting, 3 of 3 from the three-point line and 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Nikola Jokic should not be able to do that against Anthony Davis. He should not be able to do that against Anthony Davis. He should be able to do that against everybody else, yes, not against Anthony Davis. And that's why I'm tasking Anthony Davis with giving me more on the defensive end against this guy. On the weak side, or if you put on him, I don't care if he's 70 pounds heavier than you or not, you're Anthony Davis. You feel me? And so just like he's Nikola Jokic and he should hold himself to that standard against you, I'm going to task you with saying you shouldn't see a lesser player when you look at that man. Not with what I've seen you do over the last 10 years. Not with the championship ring that you have accredited to your name that you got through him. No, we ain't doing that. Jokic may be considered a better player, and that's all wonderful and good, but ain't no part of AD should consider Jokic somebody he can't slow down, or somebody his talent that God gave him can't stop. Because if I'm Anthony Davis, I believe I can stop greatness, because I'm greatness, and that's what it is. You see what I'm saying? It ain't about Jokic not being great. No. I'm greatness too. He gonna have to deal with me. You feel me? I'm a Pantheon great defender. So if he's a Pantheon great offensive player, I'm the right thing for him. And that's the mentality. That's what I'm looking for from AD. I'm the right thing for Jokic. Nobody else is in the world but me. So when y'all assess Jokic, y'all assess all that other stuff y'all talking about, except for when he's coming up against this man right here. And that's how AD got to play it. Because that's what the history is showing him he should have in regards to his confidence against this player. Facts. So that's what it is. It ain't nobody else going to say. He been kicking this dude's behind. This ain't new. So that's what I got to say. Christian Braun, I expect him to have a bigger part in the series, specifically defensively. He only had 12 minutes in that game. I don't expect that to continue. I know they may not trust him to give them a lot of production, but that's not his game. He's going to help them with 50-50 balls, diving on the floor, being quicker than everybody else, stuff like that. Don't expect for him to have 12 minutes in this game, just like they shouldn't expect Vando to have 10 minutes in this game. He is their Vando in a very different way. Much different player, all that, but he's going to be asked to do stuff that Vando probably should be asked to do on Arya. He's a big body, he can defend, he's explosive. He's a rookie, so he's not ready yet, but they trust him, and honestly, I know he can play. I've been watching his numbers all year long. He can do a lot of things that he wasn't asked to do in that first game. So if anybody can play better, it's Christian Braun. Trust that. So I'm not sitting here saying we saw the best from the Denver Nuggets. I don't think that. Not when I look at his numbers. Not when I know what he can do. No, they can do more. So, and Jeff Green, he's a launching pad. He's a big body defensive player. We don't want him having a big game in this series. We don't want a Jeff Green game. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it happen. Let him hover around the same production he's giving us right here. 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 turnover. Keep his I don't want to see nobody else getting off for the Denver Nuggets. They got 7 players that they want to use in regular rotation. Those are the only people that should be doing anything for them in this series. Aaron Gordon, Porter Jr., Jokic, Murray, KCP, Brown, and Green. That's it. Anybody else do anything, we should be offended by it. We should be holding ourselves a task for not slowing them down or shutting them down. I really believe that. And they got they got Reggie Jackson on their bench. They got DeAndre Jordan on their bench. They got some real good players on their bench that they don't use. Victor Conchar's over there. They got some good guys. But look, I don't care because they ain't used them all playoffs. So they shouldn't be using them now. And if they do use them now, they ain't ready, and we need to take advantage of that. So that's how I feel, man. Hunt anybody they put on the floor, not name one of those guys. And so that's what I got to say, man. So I'm ahead. Rui Hachimura is so important in this basketball game tonight. We have got to continue to utilize him properly, but we got to understand that if you give Jokic the same look over and over again, it will not be successful for very long. I don't care if it looked great or not. He's going to figure it out very quickly. So, even though Mike Malone is talking about, it ain't nothing we ain't never seen before, the reality is he's got a good reason to be that confident. It's because he got Nikola Jokic. And Jokic's going to figure it out. So that's what we got to understand. Just keep giving him multiple looks. Even if something works, give him something else a little bit. Give him something else. I don't care if it worked. Give him something else. Because at the end of the day, you got to switch it up. It's not about whether it worked or not. It's about giving him varieties. It's too intelligent, too gifted. That's it. So, again, I want to circle back to Porter Jr. He had a plus 20. Best plus minus in the game. 6 of 12 from field. 3 of 6 from the 3. He is who I got circled in this entire series. If we're going to lose this series, it's going to be because he killed us. We couldn't guard him. We just couldn't put the right people on him. He just continued to take advantage of us when we try to help off of him. You got to know that slowing him down is just as essential as slowing down Murray. If you don't keep a hold of Porter Jr., we saw what he could do at the beginning of the season, or rather against the Minnesota Timberwolves beginning of the playoffs. He was really balling, y'all, like heavily. And if we don't give him a healthy dose of all-star level defense, he can have unprecedented numbers from his role on this team. You're looking for Jokic to go crazy. This dude will drop 40 on your head. So anticipate it. I am. Porter's coming. and we don't necessarily have who we need to have on the floor guarding him so far. Because you putting Reeves on him and put D'Lo on him, you're not respecting him. I'm sorry, you're not respecting him. You got to put LBJ on him. You got to put Vando on him. You know what I'm saying? You got to put Rui on him. That's who Porter needs. He's 6'10", who can shoot the ball and rebound the ball as well as anybody in the league. He can really shoot the ball as well as anybody in the NBA. So that's what I want to say, man. If we don't contain Michael Porter Jr. in this series and he just continues to run amok with high efficiency, it could be curtains for us. It could really be curtains for us. We better come up with something on this dude before it's too late. So that's what it is, man. I just want to make sure we understand that. Getting him in foul trouble is essential as getting anybody else in foul trouble, because he's the one guy that I can honestly say I don't really know we can effectively guard him without leaving people open that we really can't afford to leave open. So he's the X factor. Hopefully he misses shots. That's kind of where I'm at with that. And that's it, man. KCP was talking a certain way about LeBron James and Jokic and comparing them. And, you know, they tried to twist his words and make it sound like he was talking crazy. He said that he liked his championship team with the Lakers over the team that he's going up against in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, what else do you want KCP to say? I'm not looking at that as bulletin board material. KCP ain't going to make us hate him in this series. It's not going to happen. They don't have players that are going to talk crap like that. We're not going to get no poking of the bread from them. You know, the person on their team who's more likely to talk the most crap, in my humble opinion, is their coach. Mike Malone's probably the one that's going to be poking the bear and doing all kinds of stuff, try to get in our heads, because he really don't have players like that that's going to do that. They're just their humble guys, man. They're not like that. Aaron Gordon ain't like that. Porter ain't like that. Jokic ain't like that. Murray's going to talk on the court, but he ain't going to start like that. And those other guys are not like that either. Green, that's LeBron's friend. They ain't gonna, you know what I mean? Ain't gonna be no bad blood. So we're gonna have to find a way to self-motivate. That's essentially what I'm saying. They're not gonna wake us up. Golden State woke us up with Draymond and all his antics. Obviously, Dylan Brooks gave us plenty. So did Bane. So those guys, they put a spark in us, and maybe we can draw something from KCP and Mike Malone's words. But yeah, you're gonna have to self-motivate here, Lakers. So that's what it is, man. The most important game of the series thus far. The most important game of our season thus far. Let's just call it what it is. Every game that we ever said was a must-win was not nearly as important as this one. None of them. Because at the end of the day, you're in the Western Conference Finals, and if you lose this game, you're down 0-2, headed back home. You know what I mean? With a need to win 2 games in Denver. So I don't think it's any place for us losing this series if we want to win the series. Losing this game if you want to win the series. You have to find a way to capture the victory on this one. In my humble opinion, though, we're in some deep waters that we definitely do not want to find ourselves in, trying to desperately win not 1 but 2 home games on the road against a team that just beat you twice. You don't want that, especially since we found something that worked and did cover that 28-point span. You know what I mean? In that game, rather easily. You expect to see more of that success, and if you don't, then it's like, okay, well, why didn't, you know, what can we do to counter the counters? And then you start getting into a game where you're countering the counters going forward, and it can always get crazy. So you just have to catch this game early in the series so that you don't have to put so much pressure on yourself to win in this building again, so long as you take care of home court advantage in each and every game. And I'm confident in us winning at home since we haven't lost much at home, but I'm also confident in them winning at home since they ain't lost much at home. So this would be the first loss of the playoffs at home for them, and we need to force it. By hook or crook, we need to force that. So this ain't the game to lose, LA. This is not the game to lose. Pressure applied. It's the time to embrace pressure, not cower from it. And everybody who has the jitterbugs or is not going to be able to perform tonight needs to be managed properly. This is not for the faint of heart. This ain't for the shy. This is not for none of that. You better step up and show me effort. Dive on the floor. Act like you want to be here for the Western Conference Finals. Act like you know for a fact that you ain't guaranteed a chance like this in this league again. Act like you know that. That's what I want to say to each and every one of these players. Act like you know that there's a chance that you never play in the Western Conference Finals again, even if you're a young player like Austin. So that's what it is, man. I want to see these guys seize the moment and get it right. D'Lo, you shot shots at the end of the game, after the game, on the court with Max Christie. I love that effort, man. I am hopeful that it will translate to you playing well in this game, not just because I want that production, but because I like seeing guys rewarded for the extra effort. So hopefully the basketball gods will be kind to D'Lo and get him a better game than what we got there from him, with 8 points, 3 assists, and a minus 25. 0 for 3 from behind the arc. I need his 3-point attempts to stay where they are when he's not hitting any. Just like Bron, we don't want to be inconsistent, but we do need a good shooter to attempt 3-point shots, and we think D'Lo is a very good 3-point shooter. So we want him to make shots. I'm happy with him cutting it off when he ain't hitting them, though. That's exactly how you handle it when you're not hitting right. But we want you to be confident that you can hit them, and we know that that's a extreme strength for D'Angelo Russell. We want him to find his confidence. So that is where my head is, man. The bigger the better in this series. It ain't just a preference thing. It's what's required. We have to match up with this team. Small ball is not it, man. Rui Hachimura, Vando have to be reincorporated back into this series in much more advanced ways and much more, not advanced, but significant ways than what we've been doing to start the series. When you get a +5 out of Vando and it's only 10 minutes, that means you need more. You know, and Rui, same thing. 28 minutes, nah. With D'Lo getting 26 minutes, hell no. Rui should have been on the floor for twice that long. You know, on a night where DS and D'Lo are struggling, hell nah. That's where you struggled with your small ball players, your guards, the ones you shouldn't have put on the floor. Those are the ones that did the worst stuff. So let's just be honest about that and try to go big. I don't like necessarily putting the ball in LeBron James' hands to be the point guard with a bunch of big people around him that can't even ball handle. I understand the benefit of having multiple ball handlers in situations, but in this series, we may have to forego that, Darvin. You may have to accept the fact there's going to be some stagnation with your ball handling, because you're going to need the rebounding. You're going to need the rebounding, bro. And you're going to need the size against Jokic and Gordon and Porter. And so if you forego that to have more continuity with your offense and have more ability to take people off the dribble and stuff like that, believe you me, you're still going to lose on the other end of it with the boards. So you got to audible out of that and let go of the ball handling so that you can give yourself more of a cushion, which is what seems to me to be most necessary in the series so far. But of course, we'll play it by ear. And hopefully we'll get a little more out of guys so that this can kind of just make more sense in regards to what I'm looking at with these guards, because I just don't expect DS and D'Lo to keep playing this poorly when the defense that's coming against them ain't crazy like the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies, with respect to Brown and KCP, who are really good defenders. I want to make that clear. They're fantastic defenders, but you know, these are players that should be able to do more against them than what we saw in that first quarter, in that first game rather. So yeah, DS, D'Lo, A. Reeves, Lonnie, our guards are gonna have to be patient with us, because it's gonna be times we're gonna need you to sit in this series, man. It just is what it is. We're gonna need Vando on Murray a good portion of the time, and I think if we don't hurry up and figure that out, we could find ourselves in some real trouble. So yeah, I love the in-game adjustments. Once again, I want to tell everybody that Darvin did something that I ain't seen no Laker coach do in 3-4 different tenures, and that's make a damn in-game adjustment. So congratulations to us for finally hiring a coach that understands how to do so when it matters. So that's real. And hopefully he can continue to incorporate those adjustments as necessary, because they will be against this offense. And expect the same from the Denver Nuggets. Listen to the people talk about the Denver Nuggets. They made some in-game adjustments in the previous series against the Phoenix Suns in some certain situations. So don't expect things to be working and just continue to work as the game progresses. They can make the adjustment in real time. So you better be able to identify that in real time. So that's what I got, man. That's where my head is. Game 2 is so massive, man. Western Conference Finals, we are happy. We are happy that we're here. But we also understand that we are better than we've shown in that first game. And every game matters, so don't think for a second that just because something worked in the fourth quarter of the last game that it's going to just automatically mean you win this game. You got to come out with the effort, intensity that you didn't bring in the first game, in the first half, in order to win this game. For certain. And if Jokic is doing what it is that Jokic does, don't be discouraged, because those things are going to happen at times. We're going to put the best defender in the world on him, and I think we got the best chance anyone has of stopping him because of it. So that's what I want to say. If AD can't slow this man down, there's no one else in this league who can. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.